Hey, what is up guys? It's Brendan here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the best Shopify payment gateways, ones that can help you save on fees and boost global sales. Now, choosing the right Shopify payment gateway isn't just about accepting credit cards. It's about giving your customers the local payment options they expect, optimizing for international sales, and reducing hidden fees that can eat into your margins. Now, in this video, we're going to be breaking down the top 5 Shopify payment gateways, what they're great at, where they fall short, and how to pick the right one based on your growth plans. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the topic for today. But before we dive into things, of course, I do want to mention, if you don't already have a Shopify store, you can check out that first link down below in the video description. That's brendanvalesky.com/Shopify. We'll take you right over this page here where you can get started with your Shopify store. Again, that's that first link down below in the video description. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into, again, the best Shopify payment gateways. Now, why do payment gateways matter? Of course, it's important to consider that Shopify does have a whole host of different payment gateways for various different countries and regions. You can see that the list is quite extensive with Shopify, and it can be hard to decipher which one do you pick. What are actually the best Shopify payment gateways for you in your Shopify store and ultimately in your small business? Now, of course, payment gateways are more than just a checkout box. Of course, when you go to a Shopify store, you sell on your Shopify checkout, you see, you enter in the email, the name, first name, last name, things like that, shipping method, and then you come to the payment method, right? You've got credit, debit card, maybe PayPal, something like that. What is it that you actually want to have here? What are the types of payment options that you want to give to your customers when they're going through your Shopify checkout store, okay? Now, it's important to consider that payment gateways are more than just this checkout box, right? They impact your conversion rate. Do shoppers see the local method of payment for your store, right? Are they familiar with Visa, MasterCard, or Amex? Or maybe is it another payment method, right? When it comes to revenue, are you losing 2% or more to currency conversions? That can be a big thing with international sales. And admin time, are you juggling multiple different payment providers, right? Maybe depending on the kind of payment providers you're using on your e-commerce store, does that make sense as to where you're at currently? And again, also something to consider is whether you're just starting out or scaling globally. The right gateway can be a growth lever or a costly bottleneck depending on which one that you choose for your checkout in your Shopify store. So we're going to dive into the list now in the next section, taking a look here at the best different Shopify payment gateways. So let's go ahead and go through the top 5 payment gateways for Shopify merchants to use, again, with real world pros and cons in order to help you decide as to which one might be the best option for you in your Shopify store. So kicking the list off here at number 1, we have Shopify payments. Now, this really should be no surprise to you guys who watch the channel quite a lot and my Shopify tutorial videos, is that Shopify payments does offer a seamless setup, especially for new stores. Again, this is available directly through Shopify. It is Shopify's direct payment gateway. It is their Shopify payments payment gateway, and it's pretty much the default payment gateway when you're getting started with a Shopify store. Again, it's very easy to get set up with, and you can accept credit cards as well as other popular payment methods with a payment provider, again, that's ready to go when you are, right? And it's directly integrated with Shopify, so you don't really have to sign up on any other additional external platforms. It's very easy to get set up with. All you have to do is set up your information and you can start accepting payments for inside your Shopify store, right? Visa, MasterCard, Amex, Shop Pay is actually available directly through Shopify if you're unaware. And then you also have Apple Pay and Google Pay as well. So you do have a lot of, it's pretty much the gold standard for getting started with a Shopify store for a basic setup. If you just need the basics, then Shopify payments can pretty much handle things when it comes to payment gateways for most people who are beginners, maybe brand new to Shopify or just starting your e-commerce store. Shopify payments can be just a very easy way to start making money inside your store, right? It's simple and a pretty easy process. Now, with that said, it's not necessarily the best, and it does have limited international payment options and can actually block some overseas shoppers due to their risk mitigation that they have built into Shopify payments, which isn't always the best thing to happen inside your store, especially when you're trying to make sales, right? So it is nice that it's built in, it's easy, but you are locked into Shopify's rules. And for example, one important thing to consider as well is that Klarna only works in Europe and again, international local payment methods are limited inside Shopify payments. So that's something to consider when you're looking at Shopify payments. Now, moving along in this list, we actually are getting to today's video sponsor is Airwallex. Again, I want to thank you to Airwallex for sponsoring today's video. And if you do want to check out Airwallex before we dive in, of course, you can check out those links linked down below in the video description. That's brentvalesky.com/Airwallex. Now, getting into Airwallex, they are designed for global merchants, and they offer strong multi-currency features in terms of what Airwallex has to offer. Now, they help you in terms of selling internationally compared to traditional Shopify payments, where you're not necessarily as built for those international payments like I touched on earlier in this video, and they do really fit in nicely in those kinds of setups where you are processing more international payments. In addition to that, again, you can help eliminate some of those costly foreign transaction fees that would eat away at your margins at the end of the day, and you can accept those card payments without any payment redirection and improve your checkout conversion rates by offering Apple Pay and Google Pay plus 160 plus alternate payment methods directly inside your Shopify checkout. As you can see here, it is available directly inside the Shopify checkout, so it's not impacting conversion rates. It is available right there inside the Shopify checkout when you do add it. Now, Airwallex in general can be ideal for those cross-border Shopify sellers. If you're maybe overseas, domestic, depending on where you're selling. And if you have a lot of other countries kind of close by that you're going to be shipping to, if you're selling physical products or digital products as well, then it really can make sense to go with a company like Airwallex and how they can help increase your overall, conversion rate and checkout experience. Now, on the downsides with Airwallex, I will say they are still a growing brand awareness in some markets in terms of their options, but they can be a good option for your Shopify store. Again, you get those flexible payment options, and you can save money on forced conversions in terms of how it would traditionally work with just Shopify payments. Now, in terms of those forced conversions, how that exactly works in terms of eliminating those foreign transaction fees, because it can be a little bit complicated, so I want to explain it in terms of how that works, is basically in terms of how you're going to be eliminating that, is you can accept and settle for like across currencies in a multi-currency wallet, avoiding those forced conversions and unnecessary fees, which helps ultimately save you money as the business owner. And for example, with the like-for-like settlements, for a UK-based seller, you can accept USD as the payment currency without the forced conversion back to GBP, and you can keep the income in your USD balance wallet and use it when you need to pay your contractors in the US by that USD or US dollar. Now, in terms of those local payment methods, what you're able to offer, these are things like, Klarna, Afterpay, Alipay, Ideal interfaces, right? These companies here, WeChat Pay, especially I know WeChat's very popular in China. So depending on where you're selling, it can make a lot of sense to go with a company like Airwallex for those international payment processing and for more international payment gateway. Now, something else to consider as well is for those local payment methods. If you're maybe in the Netherlands, people prefer the Ideal. If you're in Germany or the US, then Klarna is pretty popular. If you're in Australia, maybe Afterpay, or in China, it's going to be like the Alipay or WeChat, like I talked about before. And again, if you're not offering those types of payment methods for your customers at the end of the day, you're going to be probably losing sales. And it's really just that simple when it comes to offering certain payment methods that people are used to and that they are familiar with and are willing to spend money through. And you also save a bit of money on eliminating the foreign transaction fees as well. So again, that can be a big difference there. Again, if you're selling to those other currencies or selling to those international platforms, you're eliminating the additional cost with the markup, and you're able to save a bit of money there in terms of what you would actually save in your store. Now, in terms of hands-on, actual demo in terms of what the Airwallex platform can do for your business, we have a quick overall look at a company, which is Lux Skin, and they actually smash their targets and streamline operations with Airwallex. And this is an international e-commerce business that partnered with Airwallex to help grow their business using their payment acceptance methods, and they saw an overall 10% uplift in average order value. That's what AOV stands for. 20 to 30% increase in conversions by unlocking, of course, the Airwallex payments and saving money on conversion fees at the end of the day. So this is a real world savings example that I want to show you here in this video, because it really does kind of help, explain like why it could be beneficial for you to go with a company like Airwallex. Again, if you want to get signed up with them or try them out today, again, you can check out those links linked down below in the video description. Hey, what is up guys? Editor Brennan here, and I wanted to also quickly mention that Airwallex does also offer business accounts. Now, with their business accounts can be super helpful for the international success of your brand and business. Now, it's important to mention that with Airwallex business accounts, you can hold 20 plus local currencies for sellers and have local bank details in over 60 plus countries if the sellers need to take bank transfers as payment. And it is a strong difference against other players in the industry, as you can see here with the transfers, spending limits, and the cards you can set up on the Airwallex business accounts. So again, I do want to mention that that is another benefit of using their platform for your business and of course for your Shopify store. So now moving in at number 2 in this list, we have is PayPal. Now you probably saw it on screen before, is that PayPal is pretty much directly integrated in Shopify as well. Even inside the checkout, they have that option after credit and debit card with Shopify payments. And then you have PayPal as kind of like an easy shoe-in as an alternative payment method. Now you don't necessarily have to even offer PayPal. And for some stores, I wouldn't even necessarily recommend it to get started with PayPal. But if you want something else that gives you an extra additional payment method inside your store, it can be a good extra option to offer for your shoppers, right? The nice thing is they can pay with PayPal if they already have a PayPal account. Especially internationally, a lot of people do have PayPal. However, there are some downsides that do come with PayPal, which we'll get into in just a moment. But a lot of international people, if you're selling internationally, they are familiar with PayPal. A lot of people have PayPal accounts. So that's at least one nice benefit there. And then Venmo is also pretty popular as well, right? So if you look at Venmo in terms of a preferred payment method, a lot of people do like to just check out directly with PayPal or with Venmo. Maybe if they already have money on there. Again, a lot of people already have Venmo accounts. It is pretty popular, as you can see here. And Venmo users spend 2.2 times more annually than other online buyers. So offering Venmo at checkout as part of PayPal's checkout at no additional cost can be a nice appeal when you're getting started with your Shopify store and you want to add just like another extra way to accept payments inside your store. PayPal can be a good option for that. Now, in terms of the biggest downsides that I hinted at slightly with PayPal is that they have really high transaction fees, okay? This is something, if you've ever processed any kind of payments with PayPal, especially when it comes internationally, they milk you on the fees, okay? PayPal charges really, really high fees, especially internationally, honestly, even domestically as well. They just really have pretty high transaction fees. So that's kind of a downside there. They also have pretty limited control over disputes as well. If you have payment disputes, PayPal's like, here's the money, we're gonna, you dispute it. There's really not exactly the best customer service aspect with them. I have in the past, had some situations where I have been able to get money turned over, but it's not necessarily the best, right? PayPal's not so great in there. Now, in terms of some of the benefits, of course, it is great for impulse buyers, especially with the Venmo side of things, and with the brand trust that comes with PayPal, just because so many people are already familiar with the brand. But the fees can really add up ultimately at the end of the day. And for those high volume or international orders, the fees can really rake up, and it's not necessarily recommended for everybody in that because of those reasons, right? Moving in at number 3 in this list here we have today is Stripe. Now, Stripe is actually a very popular payment gateway that I do recommend for a lot of people, especially even if you're off Shopify or even just people getting started with Shopify. Stripe could be a good option. Now, Stripe does offer strong developer tools and a broad global reach. So they offer broad global payments and you can integrate it with Shopify. Now, it does take a little bit of extra setup to do that. There's pretty easy tutorial videos out there. And Shopify also has a pretty step-by-step tutorial on how to integrate with Stripe. So that's not necessarily the most of your worries. Now, the nice thing with Stripe is that they do have flexibility in terms of that, the developer aspect. If you want to set up recurring payments and more, complex payment processing on your store, then Stripe could be a good option for you. You do also have that global reach and kind of like less fees overall than PayPal by comparison. Now, some of the downsides with going with a company like Stripe is that they do offer kind of a bit more of a strict chargeback policy, and support can be slow for some small businesses because Stripe really ultimately at the end of the day is more designed for those bigger businesses that process even on their homepage. I mean, look, they processing 3.5 million in a day, processing 39,000 in sales on the hour or something like that. So, if you're processing like millions of dollars in a month, then, Stripe, that's kind of where they prioritize their support. So again, support is a little not so great with Stripe there as well. Now, overall, I will say Stripe is great for the global coverage and the additional development and customization tools that can be very beneficial for people who are looking for that. Again, when it comes to that flexibility, if you're a subscription-based company, if you're a software type tool, and then you also use Shopify to sell some products, it could make sense there. But some merchants might find the chargeback process frustrating, and their customer service is less responsive overall. Moving in at number 4, we do have is Adyen. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Adyen. It's an enterprise grade company for processing payments. Again, kind of up there with Stripe in terms of processing payments inside, and you can also integrate it with your Shopify store. Again, I would say that Adyen is the closest to Stripe in terms of processing those payments and the way that this payment gateway and platform is created for processing payments in general, right? So they are enterprise grade, and they have fraud tools as well, and they are used by large retailers. In terms of those retailers, it's companies like Uber, American Eagle, eBay, Spotify, McDonald's, Adobe. It's large businesses and managing that fraud level at scale. Again, if you need that higher level of payment processing, Adyen could be a good option for you. Again, the only other thing with that too is it has a little bit more of a complex onboarding, and it's not ideal for small teams or for small businesses. But if you are processing, in millions in transactions, then Adyen could be a good fit, but it's not really as plug and play compared to others like PayPal or even Shopify payments by any means at all. Those other two are really the easiest to get going in a Shopify store. Now, in terms of different merchants and things to understand and compare, when you're looking at all the different options that are available inside, all the different types of payment gateways within Shopify, and which might make the best case scenario or best sense for you in your business. Ultimately, to wrap up this video, if you're just starting out at the end of the day or selling domestically, the best two options really are going to be either Shopify payments or it's going to be PayPal. That's probably enough if you're a beginner and you're just getting started. If you're going to be selling across multiple different regions, then it's best to look for that local payment method or the LPM network and multi-currency collection. That's going to be companies like Airwallex, as well as Stripe can be a decent option for that as well. Now, if you're running a larger brand, especially a global brand, you probably want to look at Adyen or even Airwallex as well for those larger, more international brands where you're going to be selling internationally. You have multiple different regions and you need that extra scalability. Airwallex and Adyen can help in those cases. Now, obviously, there is no one-size-fits-all in terms of different payment gateways and payment platforms, but ultimately, those are some of the best, when it comes to different e-commerce payment gateways for your Shopify store. Again, guys, if you found this video helpful on the different Shopify payment gateways, be sure to smash that like button as well. If you'd like to check out Shopify or Airwallex, again, you can check out those links linked down below in the video description. They are linked down there at brentvalesky.com/Airwallex and brentvalesky.com/Shopify to get started with your Shopify free trial today. Now, guys, I hope you found this video helpful. Again, the best Shopify payment gateways. Drop a comment down below. What is your favorite payment gateway, or questions about going global if you're going to be trying to sell internationally as well? Again, leave that down in the comments section below. But guys, I hope you found this video helpful. Again, if you did, then be sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button as well, and notification bell so you're notified whenever I upload a new video. Anyway, guys, that's all for today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.